Welcome back. Now, Birmingham Council has signed off on a wave of cuts to services, and it's authorised a 21% rise in council tax over the next 2 years.
Well, joining us now is the Labour MP for Birmingham City Council, Steve McCabe. Steve, are you hanging your head in shame this morning? This is a disaster for the people of Birmingham. 21%, huge cuts in services, restrictions on refuse collections. How have you got it so badly wrong?
Well, I haven't got it badly wrong at all, Andrew. This is a budget that was produced under the supervision of Michael Gove's commissioners. I admit I am terribly concerned about the impact of it, and I don't say that the councillors in Birmingham are blameless, but of course there's another 6 or 8 councillors going bust at this very moment. And in fact, the commissioners are costing over £1 million a year, so that's adding to Birmingham's debts.
Steve, just a year ago, the streets of Birmingham were buzzing, weren't they, Steve? Because you had the Commonwealth Games there. It was held as a golden era, and now the city is bankrupt. So much for a golden era. Should you have even brought the Commonwealth Games to Birmingham? Could this council really afford the money?
Well, of course, the Commonwealth Games were supported from a variety of sources, and I don't think anybody argues that the positive publicity and the business it generated was a bad thing. As I say, this is a matter of real concern for Birmingham now, but we have to ask ourselves how many more councils are going to be in this position before the end of the year,
but Steve,
and how many more people are you going to be interviewing about it?
Does the council not take any responsibility? You know, Michael Gove said this week that it had gone bust because of woeful mismanagement, and he said that the Labour Council had actually harmed the city. Now, that's a pretty damning indictment. It's mismanagement, isn't it? It's not lack of funds. It's the funds you had have been mismanaged.
Well, as I say, I don't think the councillors can escape total responsibility, but I defy anyone who's had £1 billion cut from their budget to manage things smoothly. I don't think that's the case. And of course, as I say, Michael Gove's commissioners are they supervise the emergency budget, and they are costing over £1 million a year, which Birmingham taxpayers are having to fund.
You're not going to acknowledge any responsibility for this mess, Steve?
Sorry, say that again.
Are you not going to acknowledge any responsibility on behalf of the Labour group that has run Birmingham for many years now for this financial mess? You can't blame it all on the government, surely.
No, I think I've twice said to you that I don't think the councillors can escape responsibility. They have a part to play in this, and I'd be the first to acknowledge that. But I'm simply saying it's not a one-sided story. There are other elements.
But we know, Steve, we know that councils invest in properties. They make terrible investments without knowing what they're doing. And the people of the town or the city, the borough, have to pay. And that's not fair.
Yes, Birmingham's problems, I don't think, are around property investment, although that has happened elsewhere, including in Conservative councils. Birmingham's problems are partly associated with an equal pay issue that they failed to deal with adequately, and the purchase of a computer system that has turned out to be a nightmare.
While we've got you, Steve, we must ask you about the budget. Did it send your spirits soaring, the Chancellor's budget statement yesterday?
Well, it certainly set the heather on fire for most people, didn't it? No, I think I'm with the vast majority who would say it was a bit of a damp squib.
And was it fair of him to have that jibe at Labour's deputy leader Angela Rayner over her tax arrangements over the council house that she sold some years ago?
Well, I mean, I think that's the sort of thing you would expect. I mean, I don't know whether it was fair or not. All's fair in love and war. I think the Chancellor is a classic example of someone in a glass house, and he should maybe be careful about what stones he's trying to throw.
All right. That's Steve McCabe, who's the Birmingham MP for Selly Oak.